Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, all of you guys are doing well. Now, let's see who's in the house with us today. Miss Nisi, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in, and I appreciate David sending in that story. That's going to be so awesome. I'll probably start working on it tomorrow, but it's going to be. Uh, it probably won't be out until July because I've already got Wednesday's video done and the one after that done. But we'll be working on that soon. Rachel, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. David, thank you so much for coming in. It's good to see you. I appreciate it. Doc, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. Flying Squirrel, it's good to see you. Thank each and every one of you guys for coming in tonight. Always excited to see each and every one of you guys. It has been hot and muggy and rainy for days again, but our garden so much, and everything's doing good, looking beautiful in it. Got out today and went driving the old back roads. I finally found out through a video that Miss Tipper over at the Celebrating Appalachia channel did on elderberries. I've heard of them my whole life, but I've never figured out what they are. But I have finally figured them out, and they are everywhere. And when they come in the fall time, on like 100 acres, and we're gonna hill this. I don't know what the world's going on with this thing doing that whole whirly thing, but uh, anyway, uh, my cousin has an entire huge strip of wild elderberry right down the center of his property, and I'm gonna see if he'll let us gather some and make some jam, jelly, syrup, something out of it, and use that. It's got a lot of medicinal purposes, it can be used for. And uh, as you can see right here behind me, I got my library of herbal books. I have all sorts of them. There's at least five right there, and one of them is to do with Native American things, and it tells about them. I've been watching videos on the TV, just everything I could learn about them. Finally figured out what they look like. Now I know where they're at, and come the fall, we'll be gathering them. Excited about that, and let's see. Uh, Autumn was feeling well enough for the first time in months to be able to go out and film a few videos yesterday. Was glad to be able to do that. It was so awesome. Uh, let's see. Now the video's coming up. I'm the one that'll be coming out this coming Wednesday will be telling what happened uh, to a family. We often visit old cemeteries, taking pictures and things, and there was a whole entire family, that the whole row, little children, mother, all had passed on the same day. And after multiple years of searching, we found out what the story was, and we found newspaper articles. So we're telling their story. And the very next video is something that I've never done with you guys ever. I've never cooked or anything. So today I filmed a video making kraut. So you guys will be outside in front of a table. I've got a little camera set up in front of a table, and we got a little 15, 20-minute video making kraut. So you guys can see how it was done. A lot of times uh, people just made it in a huge crock and let it ferment and then put it in jars. But the way I did it was I made it in the jars, the way I learned it. So you guys will get to see that, each step of that, and it's such a beautiful day outside. And welcome in AT Paranormal. It's good to see you, Andy Tracy. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Appreciate y'all. It's really neat. Get the step by step, which is super easy. I literally made 4 pints of kraut in just 15 minutes, and some of that's just me talking. Um, by the time that video is up, the kraut should be ready to go. I think should be about ready to eat. Uh, oh, it's beautiful jars of stuff. So you guys will get to see that. It's pretty neat. Like I said, I've never tried anything of that nature. Our kitchen's just way too small to be doing cooking videos, but really enjoyed getting to take you guys outside for something like that can be done outside, and just had a good time. Sometime here we'll do an update at the garden. It looks so different since the last time you guys have seen it. We're already pulling potatoes. We're probably going to be pulling half of what we got planted because the plants have died back, and we pulled 3 plants, and that thing right up there was about 3/4 full from just 3 plants. So it's going to be pretty awesome what we get. So we have that. And if you guys didn't watch the video that came out Wednesday, was on some of the history inside the Mammoth Cave, some forgotten history that only people who visit the place know, and then of course you guys, because we did a video. It's pretty neat story. A failed experiment that happened right inside the cave. So you guys will have to watch that. Let me know what you think about it. And the reason why, like I said, if y'all saw in chat, the reason why we were 3 minutes late getting started was because when I turned the computer on to go live, it decided to do an update, and it did 3 of them. So it took forever. But we finally got on here. Like I said, it's good to see y'all. And I guess I'll dig me off of here, and we'll get into some more Appalachian folklore. But this time it's going to be getting into the omen section. And this week's omen is on weather. So we'll get to learn about some of the weather omens. So y'all sit back and relax, and let's just see what we get into here. All right. Appalachian people have long held traditions of observing nature to predict weather patterns. Weather omens are observation and interpretation of natural phenomena believed to foretell specific weather conditions or events. Rooted in the region's agrarian history and deep connection to the land, these omens often serve as practical indicators for agricultural planning and daily life. Here are some examples of weather omens in our Appalachian folklore. Red sky at night will be a sailor's delight. Red skies in the morning, sailors heed the warning. meaning the red sky at sunset is believed to be an indicator of fair weather, while red skies in the morning suggest an incoming storm. This says this saying reflects the idea that the color of the sky during sunrise and sunset can predictive can be predictive of weather patterns. A ring around the moon. A ring or halo around the moon is often seen as a sign of approaching precipitation, typically rain or snow. This phenomenon is caused by the reflection, refraction, or dispersion of light through ice crystals in the atmosphere. Woolly bear caterpillars, the black or the white ones. Let's see. Welcome in, Flies on the Coleslaw. So good to see you. Appreciate you coming. Welcome. The width of the brown and black band on a woolly worm is thought to predict severity of the upcoming winter. The wider brown band is believed to indicate mild winter, while the narrower band is suggest a hard winter. Smoke from the chimney. The behavior of smoke rising from a chimney observed to predict the weather. If the smoke rises up, it suggests fair weather. If it swirls and descends, it may indicate an impending storm. Rain on a funeral. Folklore suggests that rain during a funeral is a sign that the deceased has found peace and is now in a better place. This belief ties emotional events to natural occurrences. So my question to that one is when you're buried in the summertime and you're burning to death in the sun, what does that mean? Hoot owls. The hooting of owls is sometimes interpreted as warning of bad weather or other negative events. The specific beliefs of an owl call can vary, some associating them with storms or even death. Now, I can remember as a child, as you guys seen in shorts I put out and pictures, that we've had owls in Dad's trees. When that owl first showed up, he ran it off because he believed it would bring death. But ever since, she or he, whichever one, has stayed around. It's a beautiful white one. Cracking corn or splitting of cornbread as it bakes is believed to indicate changes in the weather. For example, a crack down the middle of a loaf might signal an approaching storm. What about that? I've never heard that. Sundogs. Appearance of bright spots on either side of the sun, known as sundogs, is sometimes seen as a precursor to rainy weather. These weather omens are often passed down through generations, relying on these observations to plan their activities and make preparations for changing weather conditions. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard some of those before. There we go. Yeah, I've never heard some of these before. Not at all. Especially the owl. I've never heard of it saying that if an owl hoots and comes around, it's a sign of bad weather. I've never heard that. And I have witnessed the ring around the moon, and usually it's on the coldest of nights that I've ever seen that. But I have seen that. And a lot of the time, the color of the sky, people think that's crazy. But generally, right before or after a tornado hits, the sky is the green, like almost like a John Deere green. It is so green because we literally had a tornado pass over our house and the sky was so green. I mean, just so green. It's something that I've never experienced before or after that. So I believe the part of the color of the skies, that if you know what you're looking for, um, oftentimes when I would go to work during the wintertime, it was always night. And I would watch the stars. And there's a tree that it never moves, but there's a certain star. And when I start seeing that certain star going along the sky, usually about the time that star hits with that tree, it's usually starting to get cold. So usually when I see that, I know cold's coming. That's one thing that I've always paid attention to. But all sorts of neat things that if you pay attention, like planting by the signs. That's something that I do not know much about, but I've heard of people doing that. That's probably something I should learn, where I know actually when to plant things. Uh, but usually we don't start our garden until after the 1st of May. A lot of people this year, they started theirs in February. No, April. Uh, when there were some warm spots. And of course, their garden survives, but there was a couple of cold spells. So, me and my dad, we will not plant anything before the 1st of May. That's just something that we've always done. And usually, St. Patrick's Day is the day we plant potatoes. Always, every year. This year, we missed it because of the rain, because we had a lot of heavy rain. It took us a week or two after that to be able to even get them out. But usually St. Patrick's Day is our potato day. But I usually just, when he says plant something, I go plant it most of the time. Uh, it is how it is. All right, so let me get me off the screen again, and we will get into our story from the Creepy Campfire Storybook. And this one's entitled Looney's Bridge. And I'm going to tell you guys, this one right here is super creepy, so you'll want to prepare yourself. This one takes place in a small southern town where legends whisper through the cypress trees. A ghost story stands out. The tale of Looney's Bridge. Folklore is a curious thing, tales passed down through the generations, stories that have defied the passage of time. Why do some stories fade the embers of the campfire while others burn on forever? I believe that for a story to become folklore, it must have a universal lesson and, above it all, truth, or some of the story becomes embellished like a game of telephone, but the message remains the same. The truth lies somewhere between dramatic pauses and jump scares. We listeners can find the truth, the belief that the storyteller has in what they are saying, and that sticks with us. It follows us home and demands that we retell the story. There's something about it aloud that makes it lighter, makes it a little easier to believe, but we know better. I like to share with you a folklore tale about my neck of the woods and the night that it became real for me. My grandfather used to tell us the story on hot summer days as we sat on his porch watching the sun go down and the night to start creeping in from the woods. The air was thick with the scent of honeysuckles and the gentle buzz of cicadas. Now, y'all listen well. There, there is no mere ghost story. He'd always open with his voice gravely and low. Welcome in, Patty. Uh, Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. It's good to see you. This is the truth with a little bite of it, with a little bit of bite to it. Many years ago, there was a family that lived out in these parts that was moving closer to town. They had been hauling stuff back and forth all day. The father was driving the pickup truck. The brother was riding shotgun. The daughter, Looney was her name, was in the back with the furniture, keeping it from falling off. Well, as they were going over that bridge just down the way, at this part of the story, he'd point down the road. We all knew the bridge, since everyone had to cross it to get to town. Something just awful happened. The wind caught one of the heavy pieces just right and took it over the side of the truck, and little Looney right along with it. As she went over, she swept under the tire of that truck. Well, this part gets gruesome. It took her head clean off and shot it straight up and over the bridge, sending it down into the black water of the swamp below. Now, everyone knows it's bad to bury a body incomplete. The spirit won't rest if it's not together. So everyone pitched in to help look for her missing head so the family could bury her whole body and little Looney's spirit could rest in peace. Try as everyone did, they never could find the little girl's missing head. To this day, her head has never been found. It's still out there at the bottom of those murky waters somewhere. As they say, if you cross Looney's bridge at night, she'll jump on your car looking for her head. If you don't hurry up and drive across, she may just take yours. He would always then follow up the story of his farmhand, Ike. My grandfather would say his eyes twinkled with mischief. Ike had a run in with Looney's ghost once. Ike, a superstitious type, lived on the other side of the bridge, and he had to cross it every day to and from the farm. Knowing Ike's fear of crossing the bridge at night, his daily 3 mile walk, I, being fond of Ike, began letting him take the tractor home. It helped Ike cross the bridge faster and ease his old nerves. One night, Ike was heading home from the farm. He was about halfway across the bridge when the tractor started to putter and then grind as it came to a jerking stop. It broke down for no good reason. I kept starting, trying to start it up, but the tractor was dead. He told me he felt the air first. It, the air felt charged, like electricity surging all around him. His skin tightened with goosebumps, and his hairs began to stick straight up. Then the tractor gave a big bounce up and down, as if something huge has just jumped onto it. Ike felt what he described as hundreds of spiders falling around his neck, slithering and crawling up toward his face. That's when he smelled it. Dank, rotten smell of swamp mud. As the sensation spread across his cheeks, his vision began to blur, as if lines of something were starting to cover his eyes. He jumped off the tractor and ran as fast as he could to cover the remaining distance over the bridge. When he reached the end, he turned and saw the tractor bounce up and down again as if something jumped off of it. Ike quit his job at my farm the next day. I had to go get the tractor left on the bridge because he wouldn't go back out there even in the daylight. I used to love that story and would beg him to tell it to me over and over again, my heart racing with each retelling. I must have heard it 100 times. Eventually, my childhood fear of the girl's ghost and her bridge got lost with the familiarity, and the legend became mundane for me. That is, until the legend showed me just how real it was. Fast forward a few years later. As a teenager, I would sneak out of the house in the middle of the night and take my golf cart to steal road signs. My buddy had a boys' cave in the loft of his dad's old barn where we kids would hang out. We decorated it with all the signs we took. One afternoon, as summer vacation neared its end, we were all hanging out in the loft when my friend got a big idea, daring me, "You should take the sign from Looney's bridge. Now that would be sick." One of them followed it up. I shared a glance with them, but did not answer. "Come on, you have to do it," my friend urged. "Yeah, after all, you're the closest," another chimed in. "It's literally a stone's throw away from your house." "Right, you'll be in and out quick," someone else added. "Just make sure Looney doesn't catch you," he mocked as he pulled his shirt above his head and stretched his arm out toward my face. They all stared at me to snicker. Now, I wasn't afraid of that bridge, but there was something that just felt icky about it. Going out there in the middle of the night was one thing, but to vandalize it seemed to be like begging for trouble. Still, I knew I couldn't back down, or else they would never let me hear the end of it. "Sure thing," I shot back with a smirk. And so I decided I was going to Looney's Bridge and wouldn't come back empty handed. It was late. The night was hot. The air sticky, as I crawled out of my bedroom window with a bag of tools. I made my way to the backyard, unplugged the golf cart, then I was off. I made my see. As I raced down the road, the air rushed past my face, helped elevate the thick, muggy night. As I approached the bridge, the darkness pressed in on all sides. I could see my headlights bouncing off the vibrant yellow strips of my prize. The sign was the kind of with alternating black and yellow strips that marked the entrance and exit of the bridge. As I closed in on the Looney's bridge, the golf cart started acting up, picking up speed before slowing to a crawl. The headlights dimmed and flickered. Then the cart came to a jerking stop at the entrance of the bridge, plunging me into complete darkness. Oh crap, I muttered. The battery must have been dead. That didn't make any sense. It was on the charger before I took it out. I'd barely even been riding it. So I kept trying to start it, but nothing happened. I turned the key and pushed the pedal, but no response. The lights wouldn't work either. Then suddenly, they started flashing on and off by themselves. The lights flickered on, illuminating the length of the bridge. The bright yellow reflecting light back blinded me, and then whoosh, back off, throwing me into darkness once again. I felt it in the air, like electricity or static. Then I heard it, the sound of the water, not splashing, but like something was moving around in the swamp below, followed by trickle of droplets. Whoosh! The lights kicked on again, lighting up the bridge. Welcome in, Scully. So good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Welcome to you. And there we go. All right. Except this time, the bridge wasn't empty. In the middle of the bridge lay a blond, yellowish blob of something that I couldn't quite make out at first. Though unconsciously, I think I knew what it was before my mind could even accept it. It was a thick pile of blonde hair began to arch from the ground, one strand at a time, like static charged threads. Slowly, the strands continued to rise from the road, stretching up toward the sky. At first, they lifted individually, then in clumps, until what had been a matted pile of hair revealed portions of a face and a single open eye staring back at me. Whoosh! The lights were out again, and the darkness swallowed me up. I could not see, but I could feel it could see me. It was watching me from the black expanse. I frantically tried to start the golf cart, slamming the key off to on and off to on, continuously pumping the pedal. I only stopped when I began to hear the sound of something dragging across the pavement just ahead of me. It wasn't constant. It came in waves. Scrape, pause. Scrape, pause. Scrape. Each dragging crunch grew louder and closer. I was hyperventilating like I was choking on the air. I kept trying to start the golf cart, and finally it worked. The lights kicked on, and the cart jolted forward with a slam of the pedal. I clicked the switch into reverse, swung it around, and I heard a loud splash as I peeled away from that bridge. Now grown, with the kids of my own, I often get asked to tell that story. And on cold nights around the campfire, I always oblige. There's something about telling a story that makes it seem less real. Maybe it's the company of listeners, the giggles of relief when the story is over, or the way they ask, "Is it real?" before bed. And I reply, "No, it's just a story. Now go to sleep." Perhaps that's what makes the story become folklore, a tale that insists on being shared, hiding the truth in the disbelief of the listeners, hoping to share it in that disbelief with them too. But we, the storytellers, know better, and so do the listeners. We all know ghost stories and only have a little bite when they have teeth. Stealing road signs might be harmless as a teenager and fun, but remember, even ghosts have property rights. What a neat story. All right, let me get back on here. There's a button. My goodness. I wonder if there's actually any truth to that story. Did the legend in the beginning actually happen? You never know. And welcome in, Patty. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Welcome in. Appreciate you coming. Usually, many parts of a tale are fake, but they usually come from some true story. And this kind of sounds similar to a story that I recently read, and it's just dawning on me. So we'll have to see. Um, Pretty neat stuff and really dang spooky. And what really just kind of blows my mind is how close that story is. It may even be connected. So who knows? I kind of like how strange things happen, how pieces fit together that aren't meant to be. Um, I tell you one that still freaks me out today. Let's see, Tuesday afternoon. Um, I'll have to walk past the camera, but right over here on my desk, I have somebody gave me a piece of an old root that came from Canada that washed up in the Great Lakes. I made a necklace holder. I make homemade necklaces. And one of the cats had knocked it off, and one necklace that like it really means a lot to me was missing. I'll go right over here. Give me just a second to move this just a little bit. I'll be right back. Just going behind y'all. Yeah. Okay. I even got one on now. This one's made out of a ring that has Viking language on it. I make these all the time. I even hand tie the strings, but this is from Canada. And it was given to me as a gift, and I just had this and put it together with a screw. And I didn't make this necklace, but I made these three. This one in particular is the story I'm telling you is about. The reason why this necklace is so special to me is the stone that's on it. This is an Apache tear that comes from a volcano. It's like the little tiny bits of lava that fly out, and it's only a certain volcano. It's when it looks black, but when you shine light through it, it's green and gray and striped. And this wood comes all the way from Brazil. It's a piece of Brazilian heart pine. And a friend of mine special ordered the stone. Those are called Apache tears. And he passed last year in August. Actually, almost 2 years ago. And when the cat knocked my stand over, this particular necklace was gone. And it really made me upset. Like, I tore the room apart trying to find it, and it was just gone. I couldn't find it anywhere. We had to go do some shopping or something yesterday. I don't even remember what it was that we did. But I come home, and this necklace being missing, like I said, I tore the house apart. It was laying just like this on my bed, right where I sleep. And I went to my wife, Autumn, and I was like, "Oh, did you find that? I appreciate it." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I didn't find it. I didn't know it was missing." So, where did it come from? And who laid it on my desk or on the bed where I sleep? I even asked Hope, "Did you find it?" And she said, "No, I didn't know it was missing either. They didn't know where it was at." So that's a story that'll make you scratch your head and just say, "Huh." But it's back where it belongs on my little stand, and I usually wear one of these all the time, but this particular one was hand forged iron with a little bead, and then this one was too. That little letter is the Viking letter for my name. But how that necklace was found and made it on my bed, and it was stretched out and laid on here, not just thrown like somebody had left it for me. It blows my mind. And I think I'm going to do a video on Autumn's channel. I'll see if she wants to do it. And we'll maybe get some answers about how that happened. But we'll see about that. That's for another day or another video. But that story was super creepy. And the omens were really neat because some of that I've never heard before. So I really appreciate you guys coming out and spending your Thursday afternoon with me and joining in on some of the creepiest stories that I've ever heard. And I think that we are literally already near halfway of the book. That's how far we're already in it. Because some of these stories are very long, but appreciate you guys coming out, commenting, and leaving the thumbs up and sharing us out and helping us grow. And I appreciate you guys watching the videos that we put out. Like I said, we just dropped one about a failed experiment that happened in the Mammoth Cave. Coming up Wednesday is going to be the tragic story of the Caves family. And then following that video is going to be how to make kraut. And then after that, I'm going to try to have the story that our awesome brother David Blair sent in. So we'll have that going, and just neat stuff coming up. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. Like I said, somewhere in here we'll be sprinkling a garden video update, so have that to look forward to. And like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and hopefully y'all have had a great week. Have a great weekend to come. Hopefully you guys will get to enjoy the weekend and with family and have a good old time. And I'll be working every day, but it'll be all right. It is what it is. So I guess until next week, when we do some more creepy stories and learn some more omens. The omens for next week are some animal omens that we'll get into. And then from there, it'll be dream omens. So we'll be getting into some of that stuff and learning some of the folklore behind them. And really appreciate you guys. And like I said, I guess until next week, we'll see you later. Thank y'all for coming and have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.